why would you not want to learn these tools for something that you're going to be literally doing every day for the rest of your life? You have to eat.
Right.
You have to eat for the rest of your life.
Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, the podcast where we debunk the eat less, move more, shrink more mentality and focus on what really matters, which includes your relationship with your body, food, self-worth, and the behaviors that align with all of those. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, licensed therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. At the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, we believe what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. So let's have a conversation about that. Before we get into today's episode, I want to make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, if you don't want to miss any content that's being dropped, make sure you hit that notification bell as well. I also want to know who are the people you want to hear from on this show and what topics would you like me to continue to cover. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now, let's get into the episode. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mindset Mirror Connection. I'm so excited for you to kind of see a little sneak into my girl gang. My girl, Almina, is here to talk all things nutrition and why she is very similar to me and how we think about your relationship with food and etc. But let's talk about her for a second. She's a personal trainer based in Atlanta, Georgia, with nearly a decade of experience helping people transform their lives through strength, education, and holistic health. With certifications in personal training, corrective exercise, and weight loss, Almina combines expertise with deep personal insight. Having gone through her own weight loss journey that inspired her career, it's very, very exciting. Through her business, Almina Method Coaching, love, she works with a wide range of clients from those dealing with chronic pain to women focused on sustainable fat loss. What sets Almina apart is her nerd-level commitment to education. She doesn't just give you a plan. She teaches you how your body works so you can thrive for life. Originally from Bosnia and fluent in 3 languages, Almina brings a personal, well-rounded perspective to everything she does. Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. Welcome.
Thank you.
Ding, 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 ding. People know when it's my friend because I'm like, when it's like someone that's like like I shouldn't say professional, but like a doctor. Like I just did a psychiatrist who I don't necessarily have a close relationship. I'm very like cleaned up, buttoned up, and then it's a friend. I'm like, and I get to be myself.
Well, I was like, it's going to be so hard for me to be like very proper. I'm like,
yeah, we don't do that.
Can I first?
Correct. Okay, so guys, literally, she's like, so I kind of cuss like a sailor, and what you don't know is you can do whatever you'd like here. But it is a good question because there's some podcasts I've been on. They're like, yeah, we try to keep it clean. Like Megan Hardy. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, and I want to be respectful, so I don't want to,
we don't. Most of the women I work with they curse like sailors as well. So for those who are new to this podcast, we're just going to banter and chat for a little bit. So if you don't want to hear anything about our lives, you can kindly look at the show notes to fast forward to what we're going to the topic of today. And yeah, so let me ask you a question. Do you watch Love Island? Oh, wait, you are watching Love Island.
Listen, I am watching
and
I stop watching.
Okay, what episode are you on?
I'm on the episode where Nick is now back to being 50-50 Bella and what's the other girl's name?
Sierra.
And so that's kind of where I'm at. And then Huda just told Jeremiah she's a mom. So I'm like, dude, my friends are like, you're so behind. I'm like, listen, I'm getting up. Okay. I only have so much time, but I'm in it. I'm in it for life.
Okay. I can't even talk.
I know I can't. My friend was like, dude, you've got to catch up. I can't tell you anything.
I can't tell you anything. Like so many things change. It's nutty. Well, we will skip that topic. But what do we think of Jeremiah and Huda?
So everybody was like, oh my God, Jeremiah is the hottest guy alive. And I didn't think that off the bat. Like I didn't think that he was the hottest guy in the house, or I didn't think like what everybody else thought.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a nice guy, but I do wonder if he has a little of the fuck boy vibes, right?
Oh, interesting.
Maybe. I don't know yet. I mean, all we know so far is that he's really into Huda, but I do think that they're too locked in. It's like someone said, like, hey, I think it was Ace. He's like, hey, dude, it's day 4. Like, can't.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, day 4?
Day 4. Which
is like
I would.
month 4.
They say like 1 day is a week in the villa, but still.
Yeah.
I am gonna give you a spoiler on Jeremiah, is that
Okay.
he's actually a big nerd.
Oh,
He like
okay.
his TikTok before
Yeah.
Love Island was like about books that he read and that he
Oh,
was talking about. And they're not just like they're very much like mindset driven, like really in-depth thinking style reads.
interesting.
Yeah. And now that he's out, he has Jeremiah's book club, and I believe there's like 500,000 people in there, and he's got two books very similar that he is.
Okay, Jeremiah. All right. Maybe he is just a nerd and he
Yeah.
looks also very good.
Yeah.
You can go.
I do think he was like an ugly duckling situation.
Yeah,
And he,
possibly. Like I think he's cute. Don't get me wrong. I think
oh
he's
yeah.
attractive, but I just didn't have that immediate like, oh my God, he's the hottest guy in the house. Like every girl did.
Who do you think's
So
the hottest guy in the house?
definitely not Austin. Let's just
Poor Austin.
no. I don't Nick, no. I think Ace is cute. And I
Mhm.
think Taylor is cute. Like there's something about his vibe that I'm like, he's so adorable. Like I'm not like he's hot. I'm
Mhm.
like, he's so adorable. Like,
Yeah. He's like a little boy. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think so
Um,
far in advance of the episodes, someone might have been your favorite, but now maybe it's changed.
what have any bombshells come in?
Amaya and the cute
Hannah.
blonde, Hannah.
And
Amaya
Charlie is there,
and
right?
yes, yes.
I think Charlie's really handsome from that
Okay.
group of people. And Jeremiah. Those are my
Is
guys that
it
I
is it the accent? Does that add just like a
actually no. I think
no?
that it's fine, but I think that I just think he's attractive. He's got that, like, I
Yeah.
really like Greek features, like the Mediterranean features on men.
He does have that.
Yeah. He's Greek, is from what I understand.
Yeah,
He's a
he
Greek
definitely
god.
has that. He looks like a statue.
Yes, and I love statues.
Like
Just shut up and stand
that,
there.
statues are nice,
So,
nice to look at.
yeah, so we're up to date on that. And so we're in our, okay, what happens when Love Island is not on phase. So we started the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 2.
Oh, I've never watched that. I don't even know what that is.
It's about it's called Mom Talk, and they're all Mormon girlies that
Okay.
started this TikTok that they just like do all these little dances, and they all
Okay.
look like, I mean, they have the long hair, the boobs, all the
Donna.
things. Yeah. So
Okay.
they had this following on Mom Talk, and then there was this controversy that a few of them were swinging with each other's husbands, and with them swinging, I don't think it was actual sex. I think it was just like petting and making out, or like having sex next to each other and like watching. I don't know.
Listen,
It was
correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not part of the Mormon culture?
I'm pretty sure it's not. Pretty sure it's
My
frowned
first
upon.
boyfriend, listen, my first boyfriend was Mormon. And I remember his mom was like, you guys leave that room door open. You guys are not sleeping in the same room when we go on vacation.
Mhm.
Don't remember anything
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah. No.
we're also like swinging with our friend's husband.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. So then one of the girls came out about the swinging, and then that created controversy. And then they got
Okay.
their own show out of it. So this is season 2. And it's fucked up, man. The episode I watched, basically, so one of the girls who was one of the swingers, her and her first husband, that I think she had like 3 kids with, or two, I don't know. They divorced. Then
Okay.
very shortly afterwards, she starts hooking up with this other guy, gets pregnant by him.
Oh,
They then are in a relationship. And then in this season, it turns out he's been like cheating on her. I don't know. And she's telling her, like, they're both at this dinner with her family. And the dad's just like, well, and I mean, we're vulgar, but like, I would never speak
yeah.
like that in front of my parents. She's like, well, he goes to her and then he comes to my house and he's me in front of my parents. So she said like 4 times. And like, I'm uncomfortable.
We're, we're so open. We're open in front of everybody. We're just gonna tell our parents that we all F each other.
Right.
And
And yeah. And then the parents were like, well, if he's going to her and you know that, and then you still let him come over and like have sex with you, maybe you're the problem. And I was like, oh, What?
Wait,
Big here.
the title of that show, I would have never guessed everything you just said about it.
It's a whole thing. It's a
Like that
whole
sounds.
thing. I don't even know. It's
I'll put
hard to
it
get
on the.
into.
I'll put it on our roster. My boyfriend doesn't know, but I'll put it on our roster.
Yeah. I'll be like, what the fuck is this? Is he into Love Island though? Is he like,
He is. We love trash TV because you can just watch it before bed and it doesn't stimulate the mind. I really like it puts me to bed because I'm laughing and it's just easy going. Like we tried watching Squid Games before bed the other day.
Squid
It
Games,
was it was
Dateline?
I was like, I'm mortified. I can't go to sleep. So trash TV before bed all night long.
Love that. I'm the same. And I feel like more people should do it. I just interviewed a oh my gosh, endocrinologist, Dr.
Oh,
Heather Sarin, and I do these like mindset moments at the end of those interviews of people I don't really know. And I ask them little questions. And I said, how do you quiet the noise? She said, reality TV. I was like, oh, you're one of us. Okay.
literally,
It's great. I
literally.
love it.
Not the
So,
news, but reality TV.
oh no, I don't watch news. The news I get is from TikTok. I'm now on this thing where like my guilty pleasure is during lunchtime, I just turn on TikTok and
Just to catch up with the news. Like,
yeah. And of course it's an algorithm. So I see Love Island, Karen
oh yeah,
Reed,
of course.
some of the Ohio Idaho guy because that's a big thing. He just said took a plea deal that he was
Yeah.
guilty. We haven't talked about that on the pod, which the parents aren't happy about, but I'm like, why weren't the parents involved in the agreement to give him a plea deal? You know? But what do
Yeah.
you think about that?
Well, you just reminded me not just of that. Well, that story reminds me of the guy that got released in Georgia because I live in Georgia, so I'm more
Ah,
up to date with all that stuff. But the guy that left I'm sure you've heard this story years ago. He left his toddler, 2-year-old, in the car when he went to work.
oh God.
And then during his workday, he went to his car, went back to work, didn't even notice his toddler in the back seat. And his toddler died. This poor little boy died. And so the guy has been in prison for I don't know how many years, but he just got released.
Oh, geez.
And yet people spend 20, 30 years in jail or in prison for smoking
Weed.
weed.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Mark and I were just
What?
talking about this. It's
That
nutty.
shit makes me so angry, dude. I'm like, you are a psychopath that should be locked up forever.
Yeah, that happens in Phoenix a lot. Like,
Like, you're obviously not right in the head. Like
correct.
he said he was sleep deprived. Oh, hold on, I just thought of this. He said he was sleep deprived, but that same day they checked his phone, he was sending nudes and exchanging texts with a 16-year-old.
Sounds like a keeper in jail. Keep him in jail.
I was like, oh my God, I
That's
can't keep reading this
disgusting.
story. I want to punch a wall.
Yeah, that happened. I remember when I was bartending, so it was this big plaza and there was a Hooters at the end of
Ooh.
the plaza. Yeah, this is back in the day, of course. And one of the Hooters girls like brought her baby to work in the middle of the summer and kept it in the fucking car. Yeah. We don't play
Oh,
around with that shit here in Phoenix because like if you
no.
have a dog, like you have the right to like punch open their window and
Yeah.
there's no damage.
Yeah, I actually saw a dog a couple weeks ago walking around our little downtown area, and I saw a dog, and the car was not running, but it was like also not as hot as it is now, but it was too hot for a dog to be inside a car. Windows were not propped open. So I just found a police officer nearby that I know that there's police officers in that area, and I was like, hey, this car sitting in front of the library, dog, go now, and they did because
Hmm.
I was like, I don't know, I don't know, I can't just like walk past it and be like, I hope that dog's okay.
Right. No, no, no. Absolutely not. I mean, my neighbors, bless their hearts, they're these three like bachelors and they walk their dog at like 5 p.m. and it's
Mhm.
hot as balls at 5
The
p.m. in
pavement, the
Phoenix.
pavement, dude. You can't. I
Yes.
always touch the pavement with my toes just to make sure, dude, because it's like if it's too hot for your toes,
Yeah,
can't be
exactly.
okay on their toes, dude. There's just no way.
106 degrees at 5 p.m.
Oh, it is definitely hotter there than it is here, girlfriend. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, you guys got humidity. I get all that.
Wait,
My hair's,
oh, that yeah, okay, so it is different. I mean, I'm sure if you came here, you would be like, this is not good, Almina. This is not
I would
livable.
hate it. I would hate it. Let's see. Precipitation is
This is the worst
0%
part.
today.
Oh wow.
It
Wow.
literally says 0 inches, whatever that is. Oh,
That is the
50%
worst part.
humidity. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That
She
is
was a
the worst
dry.
part about Georgia though. Like it's humid. Like right now you can't do anything outside. I am more active in the fall and winter than I am in the summer
Oh, I'm sure.
and cold. Like I just can't do anything outside.
Yeah, that's actually so I have not filmed any episodes this morning because I could not think of any titles of episodes. Now, before when I had a co-host, we would sit down each month and like write them out, but then I would just
Sure.
feel like they'd get stale in the thought. Like you'd have the
Yeah.
thought, and then 3 weeks later, you're like, there's other things we could talk about. So now that
Sure.
I'm in charge, I've just been kind of sitting down and like, or I have like a list in my phone and I'll just put, oh, let's talk about this, or this. And for
Yeah.
some reason this week, I just nothing went in the phone, nothing went in the
Yeah.
head. So I'm
Yeah.
just
And
sitting
went in
there.
and out.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what to talk about today, but that was actually what I put it on Facebook. I put it on Instagram, and one of the gals was like, "Talk about working out when it's hot as balls," and I'm like, that is something we can definitely talk about. But
Yeah, that's a great topic.
you know what drives my clients absolutely crazy is they're eating clean and doing all the workouts, but they don't see the weight budge. Their sleep is all over the place. Their hormones are through the roof, and they feel like they're going crazy.
Yeah, it's frustrating because 9 out of 10 times it's something hormone related that no one's looking at. It's perimenopause, menopause. Our biology internally has shifted, but no one's changing the strategy as far as approach.
What if perimenopause support included like therapeutic guidance, nutrition, exercise, and hormonal support all in one place?
Seriously, it would be great if you didn't have to track down like 10 different experts just to feel like yourself again.
That's why I created the Mindset of Menopause and have partnered with Dr. Jordan Trapp to create a comprehensive plan to your hormonal health.
Together, we are making medical insight meet emotional strategy. So your symptoms make sense, your plan actually works, and your power comes back online.
This isn't just support, this is your comeback season.
Click below for more information.
Yeah. Well, we are going to talk about today our top nutrition tips that aren't about cutting carbs or tracking every bite. You know, being that I've started the Mindset of Menopause program, I'm engaging in all these conversations with women, and just some of the questions, these are very intelligent women. And the questions about cutting out certain foods, or one of them today was like, well, when is the right time to eat carbs and when is the right time to eat fats? And just like these, there's so much bad information out there about how to eat, when to eat, what to eat. When in all reality, a lot of those questions or the people who are focusing on these quote unquote hacks are like shooting for the pebbles rather than the big rocks, right? Like we're really not focusing on the thing that could actually make a difference. We're focusing on these little pebbles of hope that maybe if I eat this at a certain time, then I'll see results. But it's like, no, like you don't have to do that. I mean, what do you hear that's just like, seriously, that's a question you're asking me? Not to say like, seriously, someone told you that who's an idiot. Sorry, you had to, what's the word? Digest that information. What is
Yeah.
something you're just like,
Well, I first like I always try to have some type of preconceived notion that it's not them saying this because they came up with it.
right?
It's somebody who told them. So I don't know what kind of persuasion they went through, and I don't know how deeply they are rooted in this thought that is so false. But I start there. Otherwise, I'm like, oh my God, how are you this dumb? Right. But I'm like, okay, Almina, back up, like, hold on. So things that I hear is like, I mean, it's been a hot minute since I've heard this, but like, hey, should I try this like detox thing or detox tea or the carb thing, which I'm sure we'll get into, or what kind of diet should I do? Should I do this diet? And it's like, none of that matters and none of that has anything to do with you.
Right. I had a very sweet gal I had a conversation with today, and she's been feeling like super fatigued. Her emotions are all over the place. Like she's so fatigued and like has so much brain fog that she like is fearful of driving because she just it like all hit her at once. And so she found this detox, a parasite cleanse for it. It was $1,700, and all it did was make her symptoms worse.
And man, that kills me because I know that there are parasites that people have. I have been tested for them, right?
Mhm.
There's totally detoxes for things like that, right? Or
Mhm.
or protocols. Let's call them that, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to just the truth about detoxes that are supposed to make you lose weight, like
Mm.
I don't believe in a detox, like whatever it is. I've just seen so many different ones online that you can just buy these things and people will sell them. People will sell
Oh
them
yeah.
for lots of money.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that so I had Michelle Carroll. I love her. She's out of the UK. She's a PhD candidate, and her whole focus is on like the fitness industry and body image and disordered eating in like with coaches themselves. It's very interesting. And she said, if there's one way to cure the symptoms, then
Mhm.
it's bullshit. If it's like this is the one way you do this. There's no customization, understanding you, your energy, your stress, your schedule, just this is what it is and that's it. Like it's probably not going to work for you.
Like this one way works for everybody.
Right. It's like no, no, no. So we see this too. And I used to be this person where it was this kind of you have to track every single thing. I unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know how you will see it.
Yeah.
I worked for a company, I contracted with them for about 2.5 years, or 2 years, excuse me. And they were very much on the train of like, you need to track every single thing you put in your mouth, right? And if you don't, that's the reason why you're gaining weight, right? And so these women would go in and be like, well, I didn't track my coffee creamer, so I better not, I'm just not going to track it all because I'm, they're going to, they would like gaslight people if they didn't do it. They were going to
Yeah.
gaslight me if I don't do everything. And my,
Yeah.
say my weight went up for the night. We know that that's only an anomaly. So they
Right.
would just hide things and they wouldn't do it. Right. Or they'd
Right.
just be like, I was too overwhelmed, or they'd come up with some sort of excuse to why they did it.
Sure.
And it's so sad because yes, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. We know that, right?
Yeah.
But I think what ends up getting in the way is this perfectionism around like every single thing. Why do you think like so many women feel like they either have to like track everything or they just like give up entirely?
I mean, the people that I've trained and the women that I've trained, what I see is I either have to be super duper perfect or otherwise I'm just failing at doing this thing, right? Which is
Mhm.
funny because when else in life, with what other thing do you start to do that you are fucking perfect at? Nothing.
Right.
Like
Nothing.
nothing. Literally nothing.
Correct.
Even if you have a talent for it, you're not perfect.
Mm-mm.
So I don't understand the needing to be perfect. And I do come from having tracked all my food very precisely, and I was on a very unhealthy path with it a long time ago. But I never felt like a failure. I just felt like I needed to track everything because I was trying to educate myself. Was it the healthiest
Makes
thing
sense.
at the time? No, absolutely not. Did I learn a lot about calories? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But the
Mhm.
perfection versus like it's either I'm perfecting everything or I'm failing. And it's just that's not the reality of this, especially when it comes to learning about food and tracking
Right.
it.
Right. Agreed. And I love what you said. Like, we try to help our clients see tracking food as like that educational piece, right? So being able to look at a serving size and know, okay, that's a serving of salmon, that's a serving of peanut butter, a serving of rice, whatever it is, or a cup or half a cup. And really just the focus isn't even on the calorie count per se. Like for a lot of people, they think it's this like heaping thing of on the spoon of peanut butter when it's like this little like scrape of peanut butter. And once you know that, and you take time with it, because I also think a lot of people think, oh, I tracked for a couple of months, so then I have this like confidence in being able to eyeball moving forward. They then have some blind spots around it and think that they've failed or whatever that is. I think there's this part of tracking where it is beneficial in like educating you. And then you basically, like I said, focus on the food, focus on what it looks like on the scale. Then maybe have some days where we're not tracking, seeing how we feel, where our blind spots around not tracking, where our blind spots are, where are our strengths. I'm just kind of moving between both of those until you feel like, okay, I've got this. Like for me, for you too, we probably never need to track food again in our lives.
No. I mean, I still do it. And for me, it brings me a sense of calm, even if I'm over. Like, even if I'm over, even if whatever phase, cutting, bulking I'm doing, like, my shit's never perfect, but I enjoy tracking. And maybe that's just because I'm a psycho nutrition fitness geek. Like, I don't think it's for everybody, right? But I do it because it brings me a sense of calm. I like to know the data, right? If I need to refer back to it. And for me, long time ago, it also helped me identify which foods were my triggers for my gut health. That's how I learned about my gut more at the time, right? But something I say to clients is, why would you not want to learn these tools for something that you're going to be literally doing every day for the rest of your life? You have to eat.
Right.
You have to eat for the rest of your life. So learning it doesn't mean being perfect and meeting all my macros perfectly and thinking I'm either failing or I'm doing it perfectly. It's just a tool to help you see what's on your plate.
Right. Exactly. And that's important because again, like I think this idea of good versus bad, perfect versus fail, that's really what gets in people's way. But what they do is they think it's the tracking. Tracking does that. But because they'll say like, oh, but I get too obsessed. Well, why? You don't get obsessed because of the actual act of tracking. You get obsessed because you've put this belief about yourself. If you do it like this way, good or perfect versus this way. And that's what becomes the obsession. And you take away what tracking is, again, which is this educational tool. It's just like, as we use the example, it's like balancing your bank account, knowing where your investments are going, what's taking out, what's going in. It's incredibly important. And I think you hit it right on the head where you said like, that doesn't mean like it is a learning tool. And anytime we're learning something, we're not going to be perfect. We're even the most profound individuals in coding and mathematics and science, like they still make mistakes, you know, and that's important to know. Love it. Love it.
Agreed.
So when you are teaching someone to kind of shift away from this concept of like perfectionism and tracking, what are your kind of go-tos in helping to support them and just reiterating that idea of this is for a learning process. Doesn't have to be forever. How do you help clients with moving away from that perfectionism?
So if they start to track their food, I typically do, I'm sure you do something similar. I've heard a lot of coaches talk about this where like, hey, just track. Let me see a diary of your food, right? There should be zero pressure there. Like you're literally just like using this new app like a game. You've downloaded game apps on your phone. I know you have. Not you, but all these fuckers listening. Okay.
I have the New York Times games. Thank you.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like you have a game that you start playing, you're not that great at it, but then you get really good at it because you're using it constantly and doing it. And so I tell them like, treat this like a diary. Let's just record the food. And typically that goes well. But then when you set parameters around the things and they want certain macros and things that they want to meet, that's when it becomes more stressful. Once we hit that, and I feel like a large percentage of the people I train, that is a very common wall that they hit, right? Typically what I do then is say, okay, let's just track protein, because I'm also at the same time trying to get them to get their water intake right, get their sleep right, get their steps in, get their workout done.
Right.
So like, it's a lot on their plate, and I totally understand that and sympathize with that. But I'm also at the same time just trying to educate them and give them the best results. So most of the time people have an easier time tracking just the protein. So I'll kind of use that as like a first segue into, okay, well, if tracking everything is too stressful, let's just do protein. And typically people do better with that. And I have a couple clients, I'll probably have clients like this forever that just refuse to track. And
Right.
I have to literally give them realistic expectations,
Mhm.
like food is such a large part of your body composition. I don't think that you are going to see the results that you want if you're not doing this. So I do tell them the harsh reality of it, but to this day, there's just people that don't track, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I love the same. Well, we follow the same kind of format. So it's just track everything. I want to see everything you're tracking, just be as honest as possible. And
Right.
then looking at that and again, looking for those big rocks. So what's going to make the biggest change and hitting your protein goals are simply just going to make you fuller longer, right? You're going
Mhm.
to feel fuller longer. You're going to have less blood sugar crashes. Obviously, that's going to help with your recovery, help with muscle growth. So again, it's the most bang for our buck if we focus on hitting those protein targets. So if someone's goal is fat loss, boom, like I know I can have someone implement this. It doesn't require this Tetris with their food. It's just being able to hit the protein target, even if it's a target per meal.
Mhm.
And they're gonna see and feel, I think that's most important, results from
Yeah.
that. Another thing that I do with nutrition that has nothing to do with like cutting carbs and tracking every bite is I do
Mhm.
teach an attuned eating model because I was doing my continuing education for my therapy license, and one of the courses I did was on binge and emotional eating. And one of the things they said, it like blew my mind, was this: you cannot stop eating when you're full if you don't start eating when you're actually hungry.
True.
Right? And I was like, what? And I've known
Very
this
true.
forever. Like I working in eating disorder facilities, this whole idea of like listening to your body and intuitive eating and da 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 da. But not until that moment where I'm like, oh yeah. Because when you start eating when you're actually hungry, that means ghrelin's been released. We
Mhm.
have the signs and symptoms that, okay, I'm actually hungry. Now, of course, even then, you can go a little too far down the line in regards to
Sure.
hunger and start feeling ravenous, and maybe your emotional boundaries are low because you don't have the energy. So then that's where we're reaching for those quick burning carbs or sugars or whatever. But if you can start listening, like, okay, my ghrelin is high because I'm feeling maybe a little bit of stomach pains or that emptiness in my belly or whatever it is for you. And then you
Yeah.
eat. And because you're eating when you are hungry, you are going to stop when you're full, because what happens when ghrelin is released and we start eating, we get energy in. Our body says, I have enough energy. Leptin is released to provide that cue to the brain. And so when I help clients understand that and then have them put it into practice, they can see, oh, and I use the hunger fullness scale.
Mhm.
So 1 to 10, 10 is like sick, throwing up because you're so full. 1 is like,
Yeah.
I'm going to pass out. We have them
Yeah.
start eating around a 3, 4, stop eating depending on their goals between like a 6 and an 8. And they realize they have a food journal and they'll put in like what they ate and they'll score themselves on where they were on the hunger
Sure.
scale. And when
Okay.
they're anywhere like at a 4 or a 5 and they start eating, they realize, oh shit, I wasn't actually hungry when I started eating. And I did notice that it was harder for me to get full off of that food. And just that awareness by itself is huge, especially for someone who has emotionally eaten for a good amount of their lives. They have a disregard to, that's not the word I want. Bypass is the word I want. Those, this idea that food should make me hungry, or I'm sorry,
Right.
food
Make
should
you
fill me up.
full. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing that I do with clients. Now that takes more time, and they're not
Sure.
necessarily people who are in a hurry to lose weight. They know that if they don't get this shit taken care of and get in front of their emotional eating, there's other things we do on top of that, but more from a mindset perspective, that
Yeah. No,
they're
I love
just going
that.
to they're going to keep spinning their wheels. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. No, I love that, Christina. That's great.
Yeah. So why do you think so many women specifically feel so guilty eating like certain foods. So whether it's like carbs or eating, this is a big one I've heard recently. And I've told my clients, I'm like, listen to what you just told me. They'll almost talk themselves out of the feelings in their bodies. Have you
Yeah.
experienced that?
I'm thinking of just, examples I heard this week from client check-ins. It's like they're literally like checking in. They're like, I did all this good stuff. I did all this. And they're like, but I had this like one day where like I ate this thing and like I just feel so bad and it's like I failed. I'm like, what about all this shit you just said that you did so phenomenal in? Can we focus
Yeah.
on that? Fuck this burger and the fries you ate. I don't care.
Right.
Just focus on the big stuff because that's the stuff that matters at the end of the day. That's going to make you a long-term, successful, whatever, whether you're trying to lose weight, gain muscle, whatever goal, right?
Yeah.
It really, I hate when it happens because it just like crushes my soul that these people think, oh my gosh, I can't eat carbs if I do, or I can't have this little treat. Otherwise, it is a sign of failure or my progress is shot, just the extreme mentality. And I never had that with my own journey. I know that I did some extreme things, but I never like I would let myself have some leeway and some things where I didn't work out or I didn't follow necessarily a crazy diet. But I I don't know who is still putting that out there because it's obviously existing out in the world still this year. And it's like, why do people feel this way constantly about all this great progress that they're making? And then like this little thing. And I'm like, who cares? Like, shove that aside, continue on tomorrow, like start again tomorrow.
Or at your next meal,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such, again, we think that it's the behavior of having the burger and fries that ruins our progress. It is never that. It is the perception you have about yourself that happened.
Mhm.
And then the behavior that is connected to that perception. And usually that behavior is the fuck it's. That is what is keeping you stuck, not the fucking burger.
No,
Damn it,
not the burger. Not the burger, not a piece of cake here and there. Like none of that is keeping you stuck or losing any of the tremendous progress that you're making with all the other stuff that you're doing.
Right.
It's so common amongst
It
everybody.
is. Well, and like the opposite of that, I have these clients who've like, and this was me, like I starved myself for so long, I would just talk myself out of feeling hungry. And this is a concept that I was listening. Have you ever noticed like when you start listening to something like a podcast or you read something like obviously it's top of mind and you're just more aware of when the topic comes up. Last week, I listened to is it Vonda Wright? Is that her name? And I don't know. She had a gal on who is a trainer and is an author, and she was talking about hunger and how we as women have felt like hunger is something we need to avoid. And hunger is this bad thing. And then it started coming up in sessions and not realizing that hunger is our body's way of saying you've burned energy. Like you've burned the energy and now we need a bit more. And obviously our like current modern bodies are a bit our hunger, the feelings of hunger are more consistent than our ancestors, right? Because our ancestors had like feast versus famine, whereas we're just feasting and feasting and feasting. However, Uber eating, is that what you said? Yeah. It's true. However, that's okay. I think it's okay to have eating every 3 to 4 hours, having your body be on that routine if that's what your body is doing. But I just hear so many of my clients trying to talk themselves out of it as if it's this bad thing. And today I asked my client, I said, well, what if, because she says, we got her up to 2,500 calories. This is someone who used to eat in like major calorie deficits and really restrictive eating. And she has a farm and now they're doing a lot more activity on the farm. And she's like, I'm feeling a bit more hungry. And I'm like, well, you're moving more. So let's listen to your body and eat when we need to. And she's very sweet, and she's doing the hard thing. And then she's also very honest in saying, sometimes I ask myself, well, why am I this hungry? Like, why would I need this much more energy now? I'm not really doing that much more. The little critic in her brain wants to like pick her apart. And I said, well, you considered that this was actually your hunger. This is how your body actually felt this entire time. You just kept pushing it down and shutting it up and shutting it up. And for the first time, you're actually experiencing hunger that's true to your body. Not that you've changed your like total energy expenditure per se, but now you're just actually paying attention to it instead of telling it to shut up. She goes, I have never thought of that before. Like, but we all do it.
Yeah.
And I've done that.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of a conversation I had with a client a couple of days ago who's like, I just was never hungry in the morning. I never ate breakfast for God knows how many years. And now she's waking up hungry and things like that. And that took some time to, whether it was the muscle building, just the more protein, getting back into a better bedtime routine. If you're sleeping for 7 to 8 hours each night, you should wake up hungry, not starving and like about to eat a whole, but you should wake up with some type of hunger. And so that reminds me of that because again, it was someone who is eating a very low calorie amount. And when you skip breakfast, you are not helping yourself eat more calories.
No, absolutely not. Dr. Mary Claire Haver, who is big in like intermittent fasting, like was a big part of her Galveston diet. She stepped back from that because she said, like, I can't get in the amount of protein that my body needs by skipping breakfast.
Yeah.
I will say for me, I have noticed that if I eat now 5 years ago, not even 5 years ago, 3 years ago, I could not skip, but I could just push off breakfast for like 4 hours every morning. And I would train, I would walk my dog, I would do all the things and I felt fine. Now, if I do that, I'm so much more irritable. I feel like now I feel like I wake up stressed because my cortisol your cortisol is always high in the morning. But now that like my hormones are changing, I feel the impact of that high cortisol a bit more than I would before. And so one of the easiest things that I've done is just have a little something. And I just use that 3 Wishes cereal and like Fairlife milk. I just have a serving of that with like 190 grams of the Fairlife milk, milliliters, whatever it is I use. And that holds me over. I do the walk, I do the workout, I get ready, and then I have the second kind of breakfast. And I have more energy. I feel less irritable. I feel I have more clarity. And why I'm bringing this up is because like your client, that's how it worked before. But even as your body is changing, whatever that changes, right? It could be a new job. It could be a new baby. It could be hormones changing. You have to adjust your strategy. And that's a big part of, I think, the mental block women have is like, this is how I eat. That's it.
It's like so engraved that like there's no changing it. And people are very like adamant about like, well, it's been this way forever. And I understand that. Like, I'm definitely understanding of what they're saying. I'm not saying like, hey, we're going to change it tomorrow, but it's got to be strategic. Like, you've got to coach the person through it, start with little baby steps. I mean, I told her to start eating like a piece of toast and some banana in the morning. That's like carbs, but I don't care. Like, just something that you like. Like, what do you like to eat? Have that. She said bananas. I was like, have banana in the morning while you're like getting ready. Like, who cares?
Right. No, I agree. The rigid rules are again, and I feel like I'm repeating myself. It's like, this is how I do it. This is the only way I can do it. And just like we were talking about in the beginning, if you were purchasing a program that says this is the only way, this is it, you probably, hopefully wouldn't believe them.
Yeah.
A lot of people do. But well, where's the individuality of it?
Well, it sounds so good. I want to believe it's true. It's got to be true. They wouldn't be selling it, right? I mean, how many times has a client come up to you and been like, well, what do you think about this? And it can be like a product, a supplement, a workout. And I look at it and I try to be like, all right, let me look at it. Let me do my own little research. 9 out of 10 times, I can tell it's trash from just looking at it, literally like at a 5-second glance. But I'm like, let me let me look at this and I'll get back to you. And it's like, listen, it sounds too good to be true. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't work this way. I wish it did. That would be amazing. Buy a
Mhm.
product, let it do its thing for the whole world that it claims to do. But it's just like, the posture correctors, like a cross you wear.
No.
Well,
Oh, the thing on your back? Oh yeah. I've never
that shit
tried.
kills me, dude.
Yeah.
That
I've
shit
never
kills me.
tried.
And then do
That's
you
fun.
remember Shake Weight?
Oh yeah, 1000%. Or even when you said that, you made me think of the sweat belts that people
Ooh,
are using.
waist trainers?
I used those before. Yeah. I've
See, I
used
don't
them.
know why I never wore one. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm so much better than everybody else. I never wore one. I don't know if I was like maybe self-conscious about wearing one. I don't know, but I never wore one. But I always thought like, man, there's got to be like something bad to them. And lo and behold, there's a lot of bad things to them, and they don't do a damn thing to your waist besides not even temporarily. I don't even know what you'd call it. Like you might
Make you
lose
sweat.
like, yeah, they make you sweat. So then like you measure your waist afterwards and might be like a tiny bit smaller, but then you measure it after you eat and you have some water and it's back to what it was.
Correct.
Like it's in the name, waist trainer, Christina.
Yeah, sweet sweat, is that what it was called? The one of the gals at the gym I went to was promoting it, and that's why I
Oh,
tried
no.
it. Yeah, I know. And
Oh,
that's the whole
that's the part that
thing.
kills me. If a trainer is promoting a waist trainer, I just
Yeah,
have to close
like
my eyes and look the other way.
no, I agree. No, I agree 100%. I was gonna
No.
say something else, and of course, I mean,
About a
again,
product, a crap product.
yeah, I don't remember.
Mm, there's
Anyway,
so many.
there are definitely so many, and
So many.
oh, coming back to like you can have a variety of different ways of doing things and a
Mhm,
different plan around your eating. I always use
mhm,
the example of like a boombox where your nutrition is on one of the little knobs, and then you have your movement, your exercise, your sleep and recovery, and your stress management. And like
mhm.
at any given time, you're just going to adjust the knobs. We don't turn them
Yeah.
all the way up and we don't turn them off,
Mhm,
So you might be on vacation and maybe your nutrition knob is turned down a bit, but you're walking a shit ton. So your movement knob
mhm.
is turned up. And like
Up. Mhm,
that's a really smart way of going about looking at your, not just your food from an aspect of nutrition, but also there is this aspect of pleasure to
mhm.
it and
Yeah.
connection and memory. I think that that's something important to know, to realize on top of, not on top of, but in counter to this, like it needs to be perfect. You need to eat at a certain time. You need to da, 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 da. It's like, but also why when we think about our interactions with families or celebrations, like it's usually around food,
Mhm,
right? And like giving yourself permission to have that as well during those times. It's not going to be the rule that you're always going to eat these indulgent foods. Obviously, there needs to be a balance, but also giving yourself permission, like you said, because you're a wonderful example of that. You've had a tremendous weight loss that you've sustained, right? And I think one of the things you said earlier really stood out to me because you allowed yourself throughout that process to enjoy foods, right? Talk
yeah.
to me about
Yeah.
that.
And like, I feel like what you just said, I'm thinking of why when people have that extreme behavior of like, I'm going to do everything perfect, I'm going to just do this strict thing, that is when they lose their absolute mind at a gathering and they eat like an asshole. And then it's like this vicious cycle. And then you feel like crap physically and emotionally. It's just this cycle that will go on forever because you're restricting so much. But when I had my weight loss journey, I mean, don't get me wrong, girl, I did a lot of stuff wrong. A lot of stuff.
Didn't we all?
I tell my clients all the time, like, bro, I was doing that body pump. My butt was
I love the body pump.
no, I say all this because I really am so happy that I ever did those fitness classes because it made me fall in love with fitness. And if I would have never taken them, I don't know that I would be here and I would be doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the
So
first time I ever squatted like barbell, and I was a college like cheerleader. I should have been squatting barbells at that time.
me too. I mean, I did all the classes. I had my favorite instructors, and then like either I moved or the gym was closing or one or the other, and I thought it was the end of the world. I was no, this cannot happen, right? But I
Mhm.
took all the classes and I was very like, I don't expect everyone to feel the way you and I do about fitness. We can't. Like, we're made a little different, right? Because we fell in love with this stuff and we love this stuff. You can
Yeah.
expect that of your clients, but there's no doubt that when you work out and when you eat healthier and have this consistency, like, there's no doubt that anybody would say, like, I feel better. Like, there's just no seeing my mood and my energy improve. And I gave myself like a night out a week with my friends. I was in my early 20s. My friends were still partying every weekend. So I would go out, but I would just hold myself back from having 6 drinks to 2. Because I was like,
Right.
6 drinks. And that's when I was like learning about calories and everything. And I was like, oh, like I was like,
Yep.
this is where my weight came from. And not just the drinking, but then we would go out afterwards and go to Waffle House or anything that was open
Yep.
at midnight or 1 a.m., right?
Jack in a
So,
Box, pizza
yeah,
slice. Yeah.
yeah. And so giving myself still a little bit of wiggle room to have fun with my friends, but also taking note of, oh, I don't necessarily need to go absolutely crazy at this brewery for Donna's birthday. Like, okay, Donna, happy birthday, girl. But
Yeah.
also, it's your birthday. You can go batshit crazy. I'm going to have like a beer or whatever
Yep.
it was.
I love that.
Thanks.
I have clients that are in their late 20s, early 30s, and some of them just cannot get past that. It's like, but that's funny because there's 2 clients and they both are in the same, they're friends. So they're both in the same events. And the way one versus the other looks at those events is so different. And you see the way that each person has responded to their thought process. And I think it's so important to recognize that. Like, I can still have fun. I can still have a drink or 2. I can have the piece of cake. I can do all of that. And well, I shouldn't say all of it at once, but like I can make these small little choices and still be involved, but have some restraint at the same time. Not restriction, restraint. I think that that's the difference. There's
For sure.
compromise versus
Well,
I can't have it. It's I can have it, but I'm going to compromise in the amount that I'm having it.
yeah. And I think like it's so silly to say that, hey, let's say you're 50 pounds overweight and you're like, I'm ready for this health journey. I want to lose this weight. Like, it's so silly to hear coaches say, like, you're not going to have to restrict anything. You're not going to have to do that. I'm like, no, like, this is real. This is good. Like, you did not get to be this way from any sort of restriction or feeling uncomfortable. Like, I tell people all the time, like, you're going to feel uncomfortable because you're about to do things that are not your norm.
Right.
You're going to feel a little uncomfortable. Does that mean it has to be like incredibly uncomfortable and you have to obsess and be perfect? No, but a little discomfort has like truly shaped who I am. And so now for me, just a little bit of discomfort here and there, I'm like, oh, I've done that before. Why would you not want to be capable of doing that?
Yes. You just said something I think is so fucking important. It is going to be uncomfortable, which we all know, but then you decide to make it almost like impossible.
Yeah.
And then you correlate dieting or weight loss with that extreme. Whereas just kind of sitting with the discomfort of, yeah, I want the 3rd drink, but I want to get home. I want to get a good night's sleep. I'm going through that right now. Like, I'm on this like sober journey. Soberish is what we call it here at the Mindset Mirror Connection.
Yeah.
And this happened this weekend where Mark and I were celebrating our anniversary, and we went to this restaurant that was really hard to get into, but you could sit at the bar, and we just happened to walk up and these people were leaving, and I was like, yes. And I wanted to feel that kind of buzz. And so I had 1 drink and it was fine. Yeah. And we're sitting there and I'm thinking, maybe I'll get 1 more, And I just couldn't find anything that I wanted. And past me would be like, no, just drink something, right? Drink a wine or whatever. But now, like, the compromise in my head is like, well, I could have 1 more and I might feel that buzz, or I might not, right? So why don't I just get the mocktail, feel better in the morning, like get up early, come home and get home I love getting home like by 10 a.m. from a trip. so I can lay in my bed. You know, and that idea of I'm gonna feel uncomfortable. I want to have the third drink. I want to feel the buzz. And maybe that's the compromise is like, well, I'm just gonna stop here. I don't know what's on the other side of that food. I don't know what's on the other side of that drink. I'm believing in my head that there's something that I'm chasing that's on the other side of that thing. Could it be there? Sure. Could it not be there? Maybe. And so I'm just going to stop here and like just feel uncomfortable with not knowing the answer if having the extra cookie or having the extra drink was going to help me feel better or vice versa, where not having the thing was going to make me feel better or worse. It's just figuring out that balance of both.
I that resonates so much. I mean, I don't drink a lot, and when I do, I feel like I'm literally on my deathbed. I just have some weird ass intolerance to alcohol, dude, I swear. But it reminds me of what I tell my clients, regardless with alcohol or food. It can be, in regards to both, but like, what's the worst thing that can happen if you don't have that second drink? What's the worst thing that can happen? And I literally make them think about this and say it out loud. Just talk to me. What's the worst thing that can happen if you don't have an eighth cookie? And they have this realization of like, oh, like nothing. This is actually going to help me, right? So it's about not restricting, but like showing that yourself that you can do it, and food is going to be available to you, and alcohol, forever. Literally forever. There is an abundance of it. You can literally have anything you want any time of day in like 30 minutes or less.
Correct. Yes. It's
good,
true.
but also bad.
We get this like FOMO mentality, especially when you go somewhere like people are like, oh, I went back to my hometown, so I had to have. It's like, I'm pretty sure you could fucking DoorDash that. You can literally have Lou Malnati's from Chicago ship you a half-baked pizza, like, or the cookie places in New York or whatever it is. And if you go in with the mentality of like, this is the only time I'm going to have this scarcity mindset, that you're going to eat all of the things, where it's like, have you ever just thought about not only what is the worst case scenario, but have you actually tasted the motherfucking food? Yeah. Do you realize your taste buds are in your mouth?
Yeah.
Because so many people will get in front of that food and just, right? And just chomp it down. Yeah. And it's like, why don't we let our taste buds taste the food? So that's another big tip is like, I compare mindful eating to sex. Okay. Hear me out. If I'm having sex and I'm thinking about something else, I'm completely disengaged, like none of my senses are involved. I want it over quickly. I'm not even paying attention to how it feels, how pleasurable it is or not. And I'm just like rushing through it. Then also I've rushed through it, not even experiencing it. And then I feel shame afterwards because now I've just added another notch to my belt. Not fun, right? But we do that with food, right? So we rush through it. There's no sensory connection. There's no mindfulness in the moment. We chomp, chomp, chomp. We're just adding all those notches to our belt, meaning calories. And then when we're done, we've not even had a pleasurable experience with it. We're not satisfied and we feel shame, right?
And we're usually thinking about when's the next meal? Like what else am I going to eat today?
Right. Exactly. Whereas, go ahead.
I was going to say, I try to be mindful of how much I'm chewing, just having a sip of water here and there. And I am usually the slowest eater if we are out to eat with people. And that could, we're talking as well. So I'm not just eating, but I take my time because I'm really trying to chew and savor the food versus 1, 2, chew, swallow, right? Like that does not even give me a bit of taste that is to its full potential. And then I was listening to this podcast a long time ago where they had this dentist on there, and they were saying how back in the day we would chew for like 3 to 4 hours a day as far as like the food that we consumed. Now it's like down to like 12 minutes. And
oh my God.
I was like, no.
Nutty.
So I just started chewing like a sloth.
I love it. Yeah. No, it's true because again, like my little sex example, it's like take your time, enjoy it. You want to actually feel satisfaction. And when you do that, you eat less naturally because you're slowing everything down. That reward center of your brain is like, oh, yep, that was great. Love it. Right. I mean, I'm just going to go on this tangent with the sex thing. Sex may not be this, hour-long situation. I'm sure the fuck want not participating in that.
Girl, I'm
And
out.
no, bye. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
If I can get like a good, few minutes and it's satisfying and I'm happy and they're happy, yes,
Yeah.
that's where I want to be.
Yeah, that's where I want to be with it. 100%. We do not need to be there for like 45 minutes. Okay.
Right. And like with food, not necessarily the timing, but it's like slow it down, enjoy it, like make that time with that food last without having to have a bunch of the food. So that's our next. What are we even talking about today? Our tips. We're not even like organized. It's my fault. I'm the host.
We were kind of organized.
Yeah, we're totally organized. Okay, let's see. So we talked about sex a lot. So I want to just kind of reiterate. Okay. So having this mindset that I can enjoy, I can have balance. I do not have to be perfect, that I am learning in regards to whether that's tracking, whether that's the attuned eating and learning my body. Recognizing that hunger is not a bad thing. Hunger is your body's way of saying, hey, I need a bit more energy, babe. Can you help out? Right.
Yep.
Understanding that, with food, you do have a sense of compromise, especially if our goal is weight loss or something specific in regards to body comp, but it's not restriction. It's more of compromise and like restraining yourself a little bit, but not restricting yourself. I think that's a huge one, but there is going to be discomfort, and your level of discomfort is based on how hard you make it on yourself. I fucking loved that, by the way.
Yeah. No, I think that's really important for people to hear, because how many of our clients are just like that,
They make it torturous.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, my beginnings were.
I'm all about the truth and like sharing that stuff because it's so common when we were taught to do that.
Also, not you don't have to have a weight loss journey to know any of this. You could have gone through just a health journey or a weight gain journey or whatever it is, right? But I think knowing that all of us have had to go through it, otherwise I would not have mastered any of this had I not gone through it myself. And I don't know how many times you hear it, but I do hear it from clients and friends. They're like, well, it's easy for you. Well, it's easy for you to say, and it's easy for you to do. I'm like, skirt, it's not easy for me. And it wasn't. And I have to make a conscious decision every day. This morning, I parked at the gym. I was the furthest car parked away from every fucking body else because I'm trying to make a conscious effort of steps. And it's hot as balls outside. I know I'm not taking a walk outside. So how can I increase my steps? So it's like, I'm not as comfortable as I used to be because I've sat in the comfort, right? But everybody goes through a level of it and is conscious of it every day. I mean, that's what sets you apart from the rest of the people who aren't able to do this or claim they aren't able to do this.
I would rather be conscious of this every day than having my body make me conscious of how fucked I've made it.
Yeah. Or how much, I hate myself, or I can't do this or whatever, like all the negative, like I am a literal different person than I used to be when I was very overweight and just not a single ounce of me knew any sort of health information.
Yeah. Another thing you were saying, it's kind of like you can never experience happiness if you don't experience sadness, or light if you don't see dark. It's kind of like
100%.
You got to kind of go through both, and then eventually it evens out. You have like the restrictive phases, you have these kind of nothing phases, but then working with a coach, like the two of us, and being able to find that middle ground. And even that middle ground, it's not just one way. There's this range of what things look like for you, and understanding that. I mean, for my clients, I love to give them, different we call it like battery training or percentage training, where we think about, okay, let's think about your worst week when you have 25% to give to yourself. Like, what are your non-negotiables when it comes to nutrition? right? Because that's going to happen in your life. You only have 25% to give or less. Let's just have some like minimums that you're going to set. And then your 100%, there's still a maximum I want people to set for themselves as well, because people can go overboard. And so when you're feeling 100%, like what's the maximum that you want to reach for? And you have your 50% and your 75%. And for those of you listening, that's a great skill of like, okay, on my worst week, my minimum is to have one color at each meal. Great. That's your minimum.
Perfect. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 100%.
And your maximum is I have a color, a protein, some fiber, or like 8 to 10 grams of fiber per plate.
Yes.
And maybe your maximum is also, and I'm going to enjoy a sweet treat each on my 100% days.
Yes. Yep. I have a client right now who's really just doing so well with her nutrition, and something that she does every day that keeps her in check with everything is she has one little treat a day, and it's been able to satisfy that sweet tooth. It's been able to make her feel a little bit of normal with everything that she's following. And she's like, I love that. And it's just one of those little like chocolate wrapped, things. But she's like, it just makes me feel like I'm not, stopping myself from eating, a piece of cake or something like that. She's like, I'm able to have a treat. And she's like, sometimes I'll have two. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's and she doesn't feel like it's a failure. She doesn't feel like it's this thing that's going to set her off the deep end with her calories.
Yep. I have a piece of, like, I have one of the big dark chocolate bars that have like the little squares, and I break it up and I break off a square, and I have it after lunch every single day, single day, and have a dessert at the end of the day too. Well,
and that's like the beauty behind knowing nutrition. I'm not going to say knowing just calories, like knowing nutrition and all of that it entails, which is very complex, but you can learn it. You don't have to be a nutritionist to know this stuff. It just takes some practice and some consistency. But knowing that stuff, like you're right, I probably don't have to track. I know when I look at a piece of food better than an average person of what it entails: calories, carbs, fat, whatever, right? So I can make those decisions when I'm on vacation, when I'm on, doing stuff. But I only know that because I spent a good time, being in that learning phase of tracking, and maybe tracking protein or whatever, wherever you are with it, like meet yourself there and then start there instead of trying to be so perfect.
Yes. You want to build on it. It's diets don't work, extremes don't work. Systems work.
Systems work.
And you got to build systems. I was talking to my VA today, and we're talking about like a standard of practice in regards to how we are moving through different tasks, because things were kind of falling, to the wayside or just being forgotten with the current standard of practice. And so we needed to fix the system. And then we went through it and we fixed the things that were not working. And she and I have been working together for 2 years now. And we're still making adjustments to the system because we want to work as efficiently as possible. Right. And I want to make sure that my attention is being focused on the things that my attention needs to be focused on versus what she needs to focus on. And then we're hiring a social media manager, so what that person needs to focus on. And so you're always going to come back and like make these adjustments and make sure that your strategy is working for you. And sometimes, again, like your strategy will change during different seasons of your life. So I think this is really helpful. And I hope you guys are hearing just like the different options for you and what might work for you in your particular situation. You don't need to do all of the things that we've suggested, but just realizing how many options there are, rather than when compared to, I should say, this black or white, all or nothing, perfect fill mentality, restrict, binge. We want you to live in that area of gray, not in the, black and white type of thinking. So what else, anything else that you would add in regards to like your biggest tips, or, what success would look like for someone listening that we haven't already touched on?
Well, I'm looking at our notes, and I liked the, what's one of the nutrition lies that we believed for way too long, and how can we rewrite that? And it makes me think of something that stands out with again, almost every single client, whether it be man or woman, but I'm either on this diet or off this diet, right? And it's like, no, this is a lifestyle. And maybe your lifestyle doesn't need to look like mine right now. Certainly what I'm doing today, I didn't do day one, right? But it's not really a diet. People ask me like, what diet are you on? I'm like, the Almina diet, like
trying not to kill myself, like die of hunger diet.
Yeah. And so like I hate this notion of like you're either on this diet or you're off of it, when it's a lifestyle change and it's gonna take time. But I really just hate how it has to be like, again, like black and white. Like I'm either on it and I'm doing it or I'm off of it. And it's like, no, and having a coach is gonna guide you to be able to follow this plan, lifestyle change, whether you're at home, whether you're on vacation. Like we're going to teach you stuff. This is coming back to me, like when I was like writing down my notes today. This is like the kind of shit that we should be taught, but we are not. we like, girl, what do you remember learning in high school? Because I don't remember shit. I just remember like all the cute boys I had crushes on, passing notes to my friend, and not giving a fuck about school. I don't remember anything about school.
Zero.
So nobody taught us about finances, credit. Like it just doesn't get covered. Lo and behold, we don't learn about nutrition and exercise.
Nope, at all.
So I just feel like this is such a tool that has not been taught to a very large percentage of the US population. And I just think it's a tool that everybody needs to know about and just learn about so that you can actually live a better, I'm not going to say longer, I can't guarantee that you'll live longer, but I know that you will live better and easier for as long as you live if you are healthier. That's just, the people that argue that, I'm just dumbfounded.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I had a whole episode of like, it's not a track. You're not on a track. This is your life. And learning how to feed yourself. There's so many things I want to say here. Number one, we have vilified like whole food as diet food. No, babe. It's so necessary for your body that when you eat processed foods, your body sees that as a foreign entity in your body. That's why we get inflamed when we eat processed foods, because the body is seeing it as this invader, right?
Yeah.
On the body. Like it's an invasion, right? Rather than when that doesn't happen when we eat whole foods. So if your body is designed to eat and digest those foods without any sort of immune response, then you should probably eat them, right? And so learning that, okay, these are foods that my body needs. And also there has been a whole design of these other foods, the cakes, the cookies, the refined sugars, the white flour, all of that. That all has come. That wasn't there when our ancestors started, but it has been made over time. And we are in that era of having full access to all those foods, and they taste good. That's what they're engineered to do. So knowing, number one, that they're engineered to taste really good. And number two, yes, we want to incorporate them in and enjoy them. But again, there's always going to be a balance that we have, because if we eat too much of those, our bodies don't like it. We don't like the way that feels. And for some people listening, you've only lived in that body.
Yeah. And you might be so used to this feeling that you don't even know how bad it is, but you feel kind of shitty and you're tired and all this stuff. But like you got kind of used to this shitty feeling. I have tons of clients that are like, whether it be energy or just nutrient deficiencies or gut stuff, right? I have constant acid reflux. I have constant bloating. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, have you thought about that? It's like the shit that's entering your mouth, this hole. Yeah. Like it's the only thing that makes sense. But like, no, I think it's just like, some raw, I'm like, no, it's the stuff that's entering your body. Like it's going into your bloodstream. Like,
yeah.
So it's a duh for me, but I know how uneducated people are about this subject. And that's why I'm so just passionate about this. And I'm of course, like I preach strength training. That's, that's my first love, but like there's so much to health that is going to make you feel and live so much better that people need to start implementing. Otherwise, what are you doing towards your health? Like if you feel like shit and you can't lose the weight and all this, like put it all in this little bubble or box, what can you do that's towards your health? Like what can you do that's going to steer you in that right direction? Because it won't happen from not doing anything
Right.
and changing how you're living. It's just it's not going to happen. Even the people who are on, you made me think of something, just any kind of GLP-1, people who are on them and are losing weight, they're also realizing, I've had some clients tell me that are on it, when they're having that processed food still, they feel how bad it is before they could feel how bad it is, whether that be with stomach upset, nausea, bloating, because that processed food now is digesting at a much slower rate.
Slower rate. Yeah.
So it's like,
so true.
oh, that feels like shit, So it feels that way when you're not on a GLP-1. You've just gotten a little more accustomed to all the symptoms that your body's giving you.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I've talked about on here before, and you made me think of this, is that we've been educated by these individuals that we look at. And if we look back, at least for me, it was the magazines, and who were on the cover of the magazines, like people who were professionals in the fitness industry. Did I know that? No, I just thought that was a regular ass chick that followed this protocol. She did follow a protocol that let's be honest is full of restriction and full of compromise. It's her job to do that. And they were promoting those same protocols to your average woman, or in my case, like teenager. And what we don't realize is that there's no governing board to where we get this information from. Whereas if in high school, at least we have like a science teacher or a health teacher or a dietitian coming in that could at least give us information that is somewhat standardized or at least like monitored by some governing body, I would hope. But we don't have that now. And we just, we get information from someone solely by how they look.
I know.
That's insane. And for some of them, they do have the education and that's great. But for a lot of the people I think of that even have the education, we're a little bit crazy too. Like I think of like Gabrielle Lyons, she looks like fucking ripped now.
Dude, ripped.
Ripped. And I'm like, what is she doing? That doesn't look, I almost like, it doesn't look healthy.
What is your routine?
Yeah. It looks unhealthy to me. Sorry, Gabrielle, Dr. Lyons, whatever you want me to call you.
I think it's like, it is the extreme spectrum of how you can look, right? So she's very knowledgeable. Listen to very numerous podcasts with her. But, she looks, if there's a spectrum, she is on more towards the extreme versus somewhere in the middle, good shape. You know what I mean? Like she's definitely leaning a little bit more towards the extreme. And I have no doubt that that lifestyle is probably a little bit more extreme than what I'm willing to ever do. Like I will never have abs, and I am so okay with that. I'm so okay with that. I like food. I like to hang out with my friends on the weekends. Like,
I get it. No, and I've been somebody who's been lean as fuck, and even then hated the way I looked. So it's like, why don't we just, meet in the middle and kind of, if I'm like mediocre in regards to the way I see myself, I might as well enjoy it. Because even then when I was lean, I was like, you could do better. Now, obviously, I've done a lot of work on that too.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like when I look at myself, I'm 38. I'm like, okay, what did I look and feel like when I was 28? Not that I'm comparing, but I'm just kind of checking in on my health and I get blood work done and all that stuff. And I still feel as healthy. I think I'm healthier than I was at 28. I am heavier, but I am stronger. And all my blood work is better. I used to lose my periods. I used to, lose my cycle all the time. When I had my MyFitnessPal and I used to track, I think I was eating like 1,200 calories and girl, like 20 to 30 grams of fat.
Oh yeah. Samesies.
I was dying. My body was like, you don't get your period because this is not a safe place to host a baby, bitch. Okay. Like,
correct.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I must be doing something wrong.
Yeah. And you bring it. No, you were. We all were. Like, you bring up such a good point. It's like, we don't realize, ladies, that your body is always looking for it, like if it's safe or not safe, That's it. It's like, is this a safe environment to bring a child to build a human? Yes or no? Check yes or no. That's it.
Like, I know, and I'm not going to speak for like all the infertility issues because that shit is, down a path that I'm not going to be an expert in. But I think that, if you came to me and you said, I want to try to conceive and I want to do whatever I can to try to conceive better at a higher rate percentage, I would be like, cool, let's strength train. Let's eat adequately. Let's get the protein up. Let's get the fat up. Let's get the sleep in. Like, bitch, I'm going to help you. But like, I can't guarantee that you'll get pregnant, but I know that all those things matter tremendously in trying to be able to host a baby.
Yep. The client I was telling you about who is at 2,500 calories, that's exactly what we're doing. She's eating like full fat dairy, whereas, when she came in, it was all the non-fat, and she's doing a really great job going through IVF. And yeah, like you said, like we can't guarantee it, but I've learned so much about IVF through my clients. It's very, very interesting to me. But yes, like fat is so important.
So important. I had a client the other day say, yeah, I just, want to get rid of my belly fat. And it's weird because I don't even eat that much fat. And I was like, hold up, like pause. We have to pause because I was getting ready to leave. It was like a session. I was like getting ready to leave. Like time was over, and I was like, hold on, we got to sit down because like your little bit of belly fat is not because you're eating actual fat. And that, oh my gosh, like people, like I didn't think people believe that anymore. And so fat is very important to have on your body. A certain amount of fat is absolutely necessary for your body. Two, it's also okay to eat fat and to eat more than 20 to 30 grams.
Correct. I love that. And 3, as you get older, eating more fat, especially your omega-3s, your monounsaturated fats, will actually help you feel better in your body because estrogen is anti-inflammatory. Or it has anti-inflammatory properties. So when it's fluctuating, you just have this pro-inflammatory response. Then you build more fat cells, right? It's because of that inflammatory response. It's just like a whole slew of things. So actually omega-3s, monounsaturated fats, or you want to increase those as you're getting older, which is fantastic because I love a Mediterranean diet. Listen.
Girl, me too. I love me some fat, okay? And the Mediterranean diet. And I'll say, this reminds me of one more thing, the fat thing. And then also it reminds me of, if you are diabetic, you must be eating a lot of sugar. Also, again, not the same. Do you think every diabetic person is overweight? No. So it doesn't really work like that.
I had I don't see a lot of men. The men that I see are clients' husbands. And then it was like the husband's friend. And he was a prestigious, like, surgeon. I don't know if I could did, but he was like all of the things. And he's telling me how he fasts through his entire call shifts and tells me about all the research on this, but then in the same breath tells me that even at like 180 pounds, he's type 2 diabetic. And I'm like, bro, did you hear yourself? And
it kills me.
It's nutty. And he didn't work with me. And then his friend goes, I cannot believe he didn't work with you because I went to lunch with him the other day and he just eats disgustingly in the short amount of time that he's fasting because he thinks that that's what's whatever. I don't think he listens to this podcast. I don't actually care.
Yeah, I know. It kills me though when you've said something for so long and educated your clients for so long and it just goes one ear out the other, and it's just it kills me because I really try to earn that trust. And I think it's also hard for people to look at you as the not know it all, but like, oh, I'm going to take what she's saying a little more seriously, because people just think like I train people. Like, oh, you just train people. You just like beat people up. I'm like, no, actually,
not what I do.
I don't. I deal with a lot more health related things than just training, probably more than your doctor has ever helped you out with.
Or even has the knowledge. Yeah, you're right. Like has the knowledge to help you out with.
1,000%. Like people don't realize that a coach can be so tremendously helpful, especially when they're working with you for a long time and they get to know you and how to train you and coach you and what your life is about. Like that's the best money you will ever spend.
Agree. 1000%. Well, with that said, let everyone know where they can find you if they would like to work with you.
Absolutely. You guys can find me on Instagram. My handle is Almina Method Coaching. And that is all the social media I have because Christina knows I am on and off that thing, but I'm back on. And I'm coming back on with a vengeance.
I love it. I am hiring someone. So if anyone's listening and wants to help with this amazing business, because I told my assistant today, if I have to figure out another social media post that's going to get like, I shouldn't say this. This is really rant. It's going to get like 400 views and 6 likes. I don't want to fucking spend the time on it. I'm sorry. Like I have other things I need to spend time on. And that is not one of them, but I do know it's like, how else am I going to market this? So I have one of my clients' friends. She's been following me and she's my age and she's helped her husband go like, he's like a micro influencer. It's like 100,000 followers on all these different platforms for like a very specific hobby. And she's like, I actually am the person that helped him with that. I'm like, sweet. So I'm like, fingers crossed that she's going to be the one that comes and saves me from social media. Because if I have to think of one more reel that does nothing, it's so defeating.
It doesn't do nothing. It doesn't do nothing, Christina. Come on now.
I know. That was my rant. My like gratitude, look at the positive, silver lining part of my brain's like, you had 500 people see that. You wouldn't normally have 500 people. Blah, 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 blah. But, we need some help. Anyway, for those of you who are still listening, please, if you haven't already, make sure to give us a follow if you're watching this on YouTube. For those of you still listening, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And anywhere you're listening to podcasts, please give us a follow. If you don't want to miss any episodes, hit that download button so you have me and whomever I'm talking to on the go with you. Thank you. This has been really fun. Next time I want to talk about corrective exercise because that's like an area that I do not have.
Absolutely. That is my shit.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Let's do that.
This was so fun. This was super fun.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you guys. And I'm going to leave you the same way I do every single week, reminding you that what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yay.